We begin the episode with Mr. Fish punching Hector right in the face. As we see, he's got a bruise and bloody nose, with him being tied up to a chair. General's gonna be happy seeing you on the ship. ¿Dónde es? He's away. Doesn't matter for you, though. He'll be thrilled to kill you when he returns, especially with Blackbird and White Tiger dead. I'll give him the opportunity to reveal who you are to the rest of the army. Speaking of White Tiger, I need to pay them a visit. Oh, you just can't seem to escape death. We see Hector try not to give a reaction, but when Mr. Fish turns and leaves, Hector drops the act and starts to panic. Mr. Fish locks the door with two members guarding Hector's room as he continues his path. We cut to see White Tiger still in costume, with her wrists wrapped around by a metal pipe. Damn fish, she says as her thumb is sharpened, slowly slicing and cutting the pole a lot, as we see Mr. Fish get closer and closer as she keeps cutting and slicing until we see Mr. Fish enter the room to White Tiger, showing her back and turning sideways. ¿Qué tú quieres? Hector Ayala is now dead, and I'm going to make you join him. As he takes a guard's mace and approaches her. What? She backs up to a corner, and as Mr. Fish raises the mace, White Tiger's strength breaks the pipe and uses the remainder of it to clash with Mr. Fish's mace, and then swings it at his face with full force, sending him crashing through a wall as the armed guards fire at White Tiger. But she throws the pipe at the guard so fast it pushes them overboard as the other guard runs, but gets caught up and thrown overboard by her. I need to find Blackbird. As she goes, we get a montage of her fighting many Black Hand members, to where we cut to Hector trying to get himself out of the chair, but falls over. I need to break this dam. Hey, what the... As he's cut off suddenly, and the other guard is silent, as the door opens to show Blackbird, who's also bloody and bruised, opening the door. What? How? Blackbird picks up Hector's chair and starts cutting his ropes. Swallowed the small knife when you guys weren't looking. Being the detective means you gotta be creative at times to save yourself. The rope snaps open and Hector tells Blackbird that he needs to go find Ava, while Blackbird says he needs to find some more information on their general and take as much evidence as they can. So they split off, with Blackbird handing Hector the guard's gun as well. We get a montage of the three fighting through many Black Hand members, with them having to get creative whenever they're in tight corners, outnumbered, or when they've got jumped. In the middle of it, we see Mr. Fish get up and rush off to find someone to fight. The montage ends with the three successful and reaching a room. For White Tiger's room, she finds what appears to be an armory, but looking further into it, she finds a couple body bags. Opening one of them up to see Officer Mantlo with a caved-in skull and rotting body. She's shocked and grossed out, closing it up quickly and rushes out of the room. For Hector's room, he finds Gideon Mesa's area, to where he finds in it a table with a weapon layout, a desk that has a photo of Gideon Mesa in military uniform on top of it, a nameplate with simply "The General" written on it, and a hitless wall. And as he tears down many photos, including his and Blackbird's, he notices a specific general he recognizes, taking the picture and takes a photo from the room. He takes a deep breath, seeing that there's no photo of Ava, as that calms him, luckily. But he also notices there being 2 grenades, and takes them before he leaves. For Blackbird's room, after killing a guard and another that came through the room, he finds a strange laboratory that clearly is meant to be Chemistro's work area, as there are many vials and written equations and notes, and a computer open with a transfer confirmed. Self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As it explodes, he manages to just get to the doorway, as it was the only computer that blew up. That happens way too often. He gets up and goes to a hallway, and and as he makes a turn, he's punched right in the face, sending him to the ground as Mr. Fish has found him. "We should have just killed you when we had the chance," he says as he tries stomping on his leg, with Blackbird managing to pull back and fire many shots at him as he runs away and makes a turn. And as Mr. Fish makes that same turn, a grenade explodes right in front of him, making him break more walls as the ceiling falls on top of him. But he gets up as Hector fires a couple shots at him, with the two running off. In rage, Mr. Fish rips off a sharp piece of the broken ceiling and runs after them. He chases them until he finds them at a deck, with some dead or knocked out Black Hand members. "General will be mad if he didn't get to kill you, Mutt. Honestly, I don't care anymore." And before he can charge, White Tiger kicks him in the back of his leg and slashes his back, impaling her claws in his shoulders and leaping over him as she lands and makes a fighting stance, challenging him to another battle. Her suit has little blood, but has lots of dirt and dark spots on it, along with some torn parts and spots that show she's been hit by gunshots. "Get the boat ready. I can handle him." "But go. We need to leave before reinforcements arrive." "She's right. Let's go, Hector." And although reluctant, he and Blackbird run off, as Mr. Fish finally gets up and punches the floor. "You're so dead, you damn bitch. What does a mutt like you think you're gonna do against me?" "I am no mutt. I am the beast that hunts in the darkness now. I am the monster who even monsters fear. I am the White Tiger." As the two fight, neither of them hold back as they trade blows, making each other spill blood, and even though Mr. Fish impales her shoulder with the broken ceiling part, White Tiger cuts it off easily, using the remainder of the broken ceiling part to help her agility and impale his foot with it, taking the other half of the part to slash his face as she claws and throws many punches and kicks at him before he falls backwards. And she kicks him so hard in the face that he goes flying, breaking through a part of the ship's wall and into the ocean. After the chaos, she's panting in exhaustion as she takes out the last remaining bits and pieces of the broken ceiling that was in her shoulder, and she begins to heal herself. But as she does so, she hears a giant explosion, with Hector yelling at her, "Ava, White Tiger, we need to go. The ship is gonna go down. Let's go." She wastes no time and dives down and resurfaces to get on the boat as they drive off to the shore, with police forces arriving. "You two should go. Best not to get seen, especially if you gotta deal with paperwork." They share a chuckle as they nod and run off. "I got you a photo you can use. I'll send it." "We're not done yet. Catch up later." With them running off, as Blackbird walks up to the police cars with his badge in hand, as we cut to the sinking El Tigre, we see Mr. Fish emerge out of the water and help other Black Hand members that got on escape boats to get away from the scene, with his eye clawed and blinded. After a bit, we see Hector and Ava, who's out of costume, taking a breather. "Mierda, that was so intense. ¿Estás bien?" "Sí, tú. ¿Todo está bien contigo, hermana?" he says as he looks over her faint wound. "Hector, I'm okay. Seriously, I'm just glad you're okay. Let's get home. I'm starving." They share a laugh as she walks off. The camera shows Hector finishing his laugh and smile proudly for just a moment at Ava, before he loses it and follows up with her. At dawn, we see the survivors of El Tigre on their escape boats arrive at a warehouse, with them getting up and entering to see a few pools of blood, and a box with a hand out of it, as one of the other members pushes it in and closes the box shut. As we hear mumbles from many Black Hand members, as a loud clang is heard, to where we see Gideon Mace cleaning his mace as he walks down. "A 10, hot!" as the entirety of the Black Hand stands straight and makes their form. "Mr. Fish, come here now." And he follows the command. "Tell me, what happened and why a fifth of the army from El Tigre is here?" We had captured White Tiger, Blackbird, and Gideon Mace swings his mace right at his jaw, making him fall over as he goes berserk and keeps slamming it down on his head again and again and again and again, as the squishy and thick noises eventually turn to his mace making thuds with the ground. Ugh. And you failed me again, as Mr. Fish has been brutally killed. And he failed me. Look alive, my army. This is what happens when you fail me too many times. And at this point, I only have the patience to continue preparing for our plan upon this doomed country. Let this mutiny be an example of what happens when you fail to meet expectations. As his violent, threatening speech has the effect he wanted them all to have. Fear. At ease. And continue training and bettering yourself, damn it! As we end the episode, with Gideon Mace returning to his quarters and looking at his laptop, with a news website showing that General Goodwin will be coming to NYC in a few weeks to show support for Mr. Luke Cage's campaign.